Why do you wear a mask? It's a simple question, and yet how you answer that question says a lot about you. Where you live, what you do for a living, what culture you're engaged in. It says a lot. So with broad brush, there are primarily two answers. One, there is the answer that you wear the mask to protect yourself. And the other is you wear the mask to protect others. So let's start with the simple one. At least I think it's simple. Let's start with you wear the mask to protect yourself. There are many reasons that individuals wear masks. For example, when you're in the healthcare industry and you go to work every day, you don't want to get sick. So for years, before any of this COVID and anybody knew what masks were, in the sense of 3-ply, N95, whatever type there are, you would wear a mask, for example, if you were a dentist. My sister is a dentist. My father was a dentist, and that's why it's pink. She would wear a mask, but she puts her face right down in front of somebody else's face and does work. So she's protecting herself. I do remember, though, when my father would get sick growing up, he would wear his mask more around the office because he was trying not to spread whatever he had, and it was a safety precaution. But if in the healthcare industry and you're around patients, one way, shape, or form, you're using a mask to be able to protect yourself. But let's say you're in another industry. For example, you're in construction. Now, I love tools. I have a ton of them downstairs. I went in the basement and I found the N95 masks that I've had. Now, why would I have an N95? We only have a few left. Why would I have N95 masks? I'd have them because if I was doing drywall, or if I was doing spray painting, or if I was engaged in some activity where particles would be thrown up, I didn't want to ingest them. And there are different types of masks used for different types of environment. So you would have them in this form, or you can even go up to the respirator type masks where you saw the two on the sides. It protects something from going into you. And that's a viable reason to wear a mask. Let's take a completely different perspective, a paradigm shift. Think of it in a completely different way. Some individuals wear masks to protect others, more of a community sense. And let me share with you an experience that I had, and it might help you to understand a different rationale for wearing a mask. I've lived in Hong Kong for about 10 years, an amazing place. And about 8 years ago, I was about to enter into an executive committee meeting. And in the meeting, there were half Hong Kongese and half Japanese. And as I'm about to walk in, the CEO probably heard me sniffle or do something. And he looked at me and he said, "David, do you need a mask?" And I thought for a moment, of course I need a mask. And I went into that room and I'm wearing this mask and I'm hot and it's uncomfortable and I just want to rip it off me. And yet I understood why they wore a mask. I was protecting them. Now, where does this come from? Where does this belief come from? I don't know if it originated here, but it was instituted or expressed in this way, that when SARS hit China and hit Hong Kong and that region, Hong Kong was devastated by it. And individuals wore masks to be able, or to protect others. So you might even see, as a remnant of that time, if someone gets sick in the morning in Hong Kong or in Asia, and I'm using Asia, as a full spectrum. There are a lot of different people in Asia. 70% of the world's population lives in that part of the world. They would put on their masks saying, "I want to protect the people that I care about or work with." And you'd see them in a store, and you'd see them going to work. You might have even seen them too. You might have seen them when you went to an airport and you saw an Asian person wearing a mask. And if you're a Westerner, you might have thought, see, they're scared of getting diseases from us. Quite the opposite. And I've shared this with a lot of individuals. Quite the opposite. They're wearing that mask to protect you as a courtesy. And I always wondered, while I've been in Hong Kong or in Asia, when a Westerner gets sick and they walk around with no care for their sickness in the way in which the culture sees that performance or that activity or that behavior. Why aren't you courteous to us? You are sick. Now, here's a factoid, a fact, and you can look it up yourself. I watch this on YouTube, so I'm hoping it's true. A sneeze, when you produce a sneeze, it can come out of your nose at about 100 miles per hour. And someone put Petri dishes all over. Those are dishes that can grab if something has landed in it, and they can identify it. They've put them out over 120 feet, or about 36 meters, and the particles landed in it. Now, 100 miles per hour that comes out of your nose, which is about 160 kilometers per hour. That's far. There are 3 reasons that individuals today, if you're watching the news and you watch China, Korea, Japan, Hong Kong, and many of these regions, and I'm not saying everybody does this, they have 3 reasons they put on a mask. Number 1 is they might be a carrier, and they're conscious of that. So if I wear a mask, I will stop from spreading it to other people. Many people are never going to show symptoms. As a matter of fact, 80% they say don't have this type of issue. And if they do get sick, very few of them are going to die. But the percentage will die if there's a lot of people. That is horrific. So people will be cured from this. They'll go on their days, weeks later. The second is that you're wearing it because you do feel something, and you do wear it so that you don't spread anything. Now here's the other one. They wear it as a sense of community, that knowing that if they're wearing it, they won't get it if someone does spread it, and they won't spread it the other way. Sure, there's a sense today of being protective of yourself and your family. Understand that. Yet from a deep-rooted sense of living through the different diseases that have happened in the Asia-Pacific region, they have learned a different societal approach that's very communal in the protection of where they live. I know we're hearing news where individuals will say, don't worry about it, don't wear the mask. You can go out to dinner, go to a party. Oh my God, that's no sense of understanding what's been happening. I know individuals who said that this is not a big issue. Having lived in Asia and friends all over the world, I have a friend who's lived in London, and she just went back to Italy. She's London, she has an Italian friend. She was terrified that her family that lives in Italy, terrified that she could lose family members. It's impacting everybody. So here's my hope. The next time you're about to go out, next time you're about to engage somebody, until we know where we are, when you reach for that mask, you say, I'm doing it for everybody, not just to protect yourself as being just me. And that's not a political statement. It's not a statement of a culture being better or worse. It's that if you need healthcare, broken bone, you might need a medicine because you've got already an illness. If you try to get sick, or you get sick today, doing something, you might not be able to be serviced. And for those individuals who are risking their life and their limb, wearing bandanas and unbelievable conditions to stop the spread or take care of the people that probably at the end of this, you will know somebody who's been impacted by this disease, possibly even death. You've made a better choice. And I hope there was an educational side of this, so that you paradigm shift and think about how, as a global community, we can protect one another. I wish everybody well. Good luck.